If you struggle with trust and find it hard to be vulnerable, feel defensive, guarded, or like you always have to be in control, this video might change the way you see yourself forever. Because there is a part of you that you didn't consciously create, a part of you that formed quietly in childhood, in moments where you felt unsafe, unseen, or overwhelmed. And that part of you is still running your life today. We call it a defense mechanism, but it's so much more than that. It's a protective identity, a sub-personality, a shield, and for many people it goes completely undetected because it doesn't look like protection. It looks like anger, resentment, superiority, isolation, the need to be right, difficulty with intimacy, a lack of trust, and underneath all of that, a constant internal conflict, a quiet feeling that something just isn't right, that you can't fully trust yourself. This is what happens when a child grows up in an environment that feels emotionally unsafe, unpredictable, or even frightening. The nervous system adapts because it has to. A child cannot leave, a child cannot fight, a child cannot fully process what's happening. So instead, the psyche creates a solution, a protector self, a part that says, I will make sure this never happens again. And that protector becomes strong, hyper-aware, defensive, strategic. It learns how to navigate the world in a way that reduces pain and increases a sense of control. And here's the truth. What once protected you eventually begins to limit you. Because over time, you don't just use the defense mechanism. You become it. It becomes your identity, your personality, the way you relate to people, the way you make decisions, the way you protect your heart. And slowly, without even realizing it, you lose connection with your authentic self. I know this because I lived it. Growing up, I didn't feel safe. There was emotional trauma, violence from my father, and a deep, constant sense of fear. I was terrified, and as a child, I had to find a way to survive that. So my protector was born. Now, she was strong, defensive, alert, always trying to find a way to feel powerful, to feel safe. And one of the ways she learned to do that was through men. Now, I realized very early on that men found me appealing, and my protector used that because being around strong men made me feel protected and safe, or at least the illusion of safety. Because underneath, I was still that frightened child, still seeking validation, still needing protection, still not standing on my own 2 feet. In my 30s, I met a wealthy man, and we were together for 8 years. And on the outside, it looked like a beautiful life. I traveled, I stayed in 5-star hotels, I had beautiful clothes, and everything you could imagine, wonderful pieces of jewelry. But underneath, I felt controlled. I was told how to be by him, told to be nice, told to put him before everything else, and something inside me started to rebel. I resented his power, but more than that, I resented myself because I was too afraid to stand on my own. And after years of living within that identity, that protective personality, I started to implode. Because my authentic self, my truth, my soul would not be silenced. I wanted freedom. I needed it. It was my birthright. And I remember when I left, I was terrified. I took up smoking, and I would chain smoke one cigarette after another just to manage the fear of not having that alpha male to protect me. That's how strong the conditioning was. And that's how deep the fear ran. Because on one side, there was comfort, even luxury, security. But on the other, it felt like a gilded cage, a prison of my own making. And that prison was built by my protector, my sub-personality, the part of me that was still trying to keep me safe, based on a childhood that no longer existed. She believed that a powerful man could create a perfect life, that safety existed outside of me. But it was an illusion, because real safety doesn't come from control, and it doesn't come from constant validation, and it doesn't come from someone else's power. It comes from within. And the lesson I had to learn was this: follow your own path. Step into your sovereignty and never allow anyone to hold power over you. Because when you do, you compromise yourself, your dignity, your integrity, your self-respect, even your health. There are emotions you suppress, words you swallow, and parts of yourself you abandon. And eventually, your soul will say, no more. And when that moment comes, there is no going back. I see this so clearly in my clients. Many people carry guilt when they begin to look back at their childhood. They feel bad for feeling angry or critical or hurt. But here's the truth. From the adult mind, you may understand it, you may rationalize it, but your inner child still feels it, still hurt, sad, alone, still carrying the weight of those early experiences. And this is where those lower frequency emotions live: the shame, the grief, the apathy, the guilt, and the fear. They don't disappear just because we grow up. They become embedded in the nervous system, in the subconscious, in the body, and the defense mechanism forms around them. This is why true change doesn't happen at the level of the conscious mind. You can't think your way out of this, because the pattern was created and held in the emotional body, in the subconscious. And this is where heart comes in. Heart works gently, safely, and deeply to access those parts of you that have been hidden for years, to heal the inner child, to dissolve the defense mechanisms, and to release the dense emotional energy that has been held for decades, not by forcing, but by allowing, because this isn't just working with the conscious mind. Heart works in collaboration with your subconscious, your superconscious, and spirit, the higher intelligence within you that already knows the truth, already holds the blueprint of your healing and your authentic self. Your conscious mind sets the intention, but it's through this deeper collaboration that real transformation occurs. This is what allows the patterns to shift at their root, not just on the surface, because talking alone can only take you so far. Heart is next level therapy. It works beyond words, beyond logic, accessing the emotional body, the nervous system, and the energetic imprints where these defense mechanisms were originally formed. And when all levels of you are working together, change becomes natural. Because underneath all of it, the fear, the control, the protection, the identity, there is a truth. Your authentic self, the part of you that is not afraid, not defensive, not performing, not seeking validation, but grounded, whole, and free. And when you begin to heal, the protector doesn't need to fight anymore. She can finally rest, and you can finally come home to yourself. And that is where your real life begins. I've also created a powerful clearing video to help you gently release low vibrational emotions such as fear, shame, guilt, apathy, and grief. And that will be available for you to watch at the end of this video. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in the next video.